This is what happens when you don't have window wells that work. Yep, that's water. The window is holding back water. We are Alex and Elena, a couple in our mid-20s working towards financial independence and self-sustainability.
Follow our journey as we grow, build, fix, and learn the skills we need to get us there.
I'm off to Carlisle, PA to pick up our freight order of the window wells that we ordered. Well, I'm here at Old Dominion, mask and all, because it's quarantine season. But this place is pretty cool. There's more semi-trailers than I think I've ever seen anywhere before. But the people seem pretty nice and should be able to get the window wells loaded up on the back of my pickup. Skid or... yeah, that's fine. If it'll fit. Got our 4 window wells and the grates formed down there. Here's that window from the outside. You can see it's just some sort of makeshift brick window well that someone did probably 50 years ago. Broken piece of siding I gotta fix eventually. But it has clearly accumulated quite a bit of dirt. And that's where water's been pulling. The game plan is to excavate deep enough so that the top of the window well can sit a couple inches above grade and that there can be 10 to 12 inches of gravel beneath the sill of the window. Holy crap. Jeebus. That is a solid chunk of slate that I guess was used to make the original window well. That's pretty interesting. They actually put 2 cinder blocks. I guess they poured concrete around those with the bricks on the outside, and then it's actually all built on a bed of fieldstone. Here's a big mama. It needs a gym when you got a 110-year-old house. A couple of years ago, my mom had these windows replaced while I was away at school, and they actually did a really good job. This basement would have been leaking more if they hadn't put this piece of metal here. This kind of saved us from a lot more water. All right, finished excavating out that hole. Got a couple pile of dirts out here. I dug a little bit deeper than I had to in order to help fill this back up with rock and gravel so it'll drain a little better. Of course, nothing is ever easy, and as I was digging this out, some rocks fell out of the foundation, and so much so that you can actually see into the basement. It's looking right into the basement. So I'm going to take some of the metal flashing that was on the front of this window. I'm going to tuck it up underneath here. This is an untreated piece of wood, and I can actually see it was already starting to rot from having contact with soil. So I'm going to put a piece of metal flashing in up underneath here, and I'm going to have to mix up some mortar and shove some rocks back in here and just try to fill this area back up. Here's my makeshift termite and rot shield. I'm going to slip this in with this edge first from the inside. Here it is from the inside after I cleaned it out. The reason this windowsill is so deep is it actually used to be a coal chute. They would dump coal through that window. It would run down this chute and just collect in a giant pile here. And then up against this wall, there used to be a gigantic coal-fired furnace that would heat the house. Basically mocked it up and put some chalk lines on where this edge is going to meet the foundation. And of course, we have a fieldstone foundation underneath about 4 courses of brick, 4 or 5 courses. It's just how they did it back in the day. So it's not so easy as far as just slapping a window well up against it. I basically needed to start chiseling out some of the rock, so you can see this channel that I'm starting to chisel out here, and I'm going to have to do it on the opposite side too. For the big boys, I'm drilling some holes in to help me crack it off. All right, I finished chiseling out the 2 channels that I need for it to sit flush up against the bricks. I took a wire brush and my air hose to clean out the excess dirt and build up that will prevent any mortar from sticking. The next step is to mix up some mortar and fill here and here, and then we can put the window well on. This is the mortar that I'm using. It's just your standard stuff bought at Home Depot. This foundation, since it was built in the early 1900s, was actually made with lime-based mortar, which is a little bit different. It's softer and is more water permeable. Since this is such a small area, I'm not so worried about it, but if I was tuck pointing the whole thing, I would make sure to use lime. Well, I will never come to be a stonemason, but that's the best I could do. In order to make sure I didn't build out too much rock, I had this piece of wood here. So I couldn't really build it out as much as it used to be, but it's a lot better than it was. It is kind of a hot day, so I'm using some scrap roof from the chicken coop to keep the concrete in the shade so it doesn't dry out too quickly. And here's what it looks like from the inside now. No more big gap. That's going to be its final resting place. It's level. It's flat up against the brick part of the foundation. I use these 1 1/4 inch Tapcon concrete screws to hold it in. I think we're ready for backfill. I'm going to put gravel in the whole bottom of this, both inside and outside the window well, and then on top of that I'm going to put dirt on the outside and gravel up to the base of the windowsill on the inside. Is going to be putting this steel cover on. Perfect. Now you can't fall in. Now we need to repeat this process on 3 other ones. Except we're going to speed these up a little bit. This thing is absolutely monstrous. I have a present for you. I got you the biggest rock that you could ever have imagined.
I'll definitely be able to fit that right here. It looks so good.
Yeah. It didn't take long for me to give up chiseling rock by hand. I found this used Makita Rotary Hammer on Marketplace for $90, and it's originally $300. And I got a set of chisels on Amazon for it, and this thing absolutely saved my life for the rest of the project. Fortunately, none of the other wells required any foundation repair. But as you can tell, it was still a whole lot of digging. This old piece of lattice we pulled up, we actually reused in Elena's garden. We have to give a big shout out to Elena's dad, who came and helped us this weekend in the June heat. This project took quite a while and had some pretty grueling manual labor involved, but here's some video of the final product. Thanks again for tuning in. Feel free to like, subscribe with notifications, and check us out on Instagram and Facebook too.